You know, have you ever stopped to wonder if love is, well, if it's a zero-sum game? It's one of those deep questions about the human heart, right? And today, we're going to dive into a totally new way of looking at it. I mean, have you ever felt that pull? That little nagging worry that by pouring all your love and energy into your partner or your kid or a best friend, you're somehow, I don't know, shortchanging everybody else? It's a classic dilemma for sure. And this saying, man, it just perfectly captures that problem. It makes love sound like this impossible choice. You can either have a love that's spread thin and is kind of superficial, or you can have a love that's super profound, but it's narrow, maybe even a little selfish. But what if that's a false choice? What if we don't have to pick at all? So, to really get to the bottom of this, let's try to look at it from a completely different angle. What if the whole problem isn't with love, but with the flawed idea we have about how love is supposed to work? Okay, this right here, this is the big mental flip we need to make. Instead of seeing deep love and broad love as enemies fighting over the same territory, what if they actually help each other? What if they make each other stronger? Let's use a few examples from nature to make this idea really click. First, just think about the sun. Its light literally touches the entire planet. That is some incredible breadth, right? But it's not perfectly even. Some places, maybe a side of a mountain facing the sun, get a much more direct, intense warmth. See? Our love can be just like that. It can touch everyone in our lives while still giving some people a more concentrated, intense warmth. Or, okay, what about the ocean? It's massive. It takes in water from thousands of rivers, a perfect picture of breadth. But inside that same vast ocean, you have trenches that are miles and miles deep. The ocean's ability to be incredibly deep in one spot doesn't make it any less wide everywhere else. It can be both. And I love this one, the tree. It has this huge, sprawling canopy of leaves and branches. That's its breadth, reaching out for sunlight. But what makes all of that possible? What supports it? It's the depth of its roots, holding it steady and pulling in nourishment. And that is the absolute key here. Depth isn't the enemy of breadth. It's the source of it. That deep, nourishing love you have for one person, that can be the very root system that gives you the strength and the energy to spread your branches of compassion to so many other people. Okay, so if they aren't in conflict, how do we actually do this? How do we live this? Well, there's actually a philosophy that gives this idea a name: holographic love. Let's dig into what that actually means. This quote really just nails it. The whole idea is about seeing the universe in one person. The love you feel for that individual becomes like a magnifying glass, a focused channel for your love for, well, for everything and everyone. So basically, holographic love is that moment when your deep personal love and your broad universal love just stop being two separate things. They fuse together. Loving one person deeply becomes an act of loving the entire world, and loving the entire world actually makes your deep love even more meaningful. And this slide just illustrates that shift in thinking perfectly. The old way of thinking about love is that it's like a pie. If I give you a big slice, there's just less for everybody else. But this new model sees love more like music, like a resonant frequency. When you share it, it doesn't get used up. It actually gets louder. It amplifies, it creates more. All right, so this all sounds really beautiful in theory, but let's be real and talk about those nagging worries, those yeah but questions that pop into our heads when we try to actually live this way. This is the big one, isn't it? That fear that if you get totally swept up in one amazing, deep relationship, you'll just forget about everyone else. That you'll neglect your friends, your family, your community. But the answer is a pretty clear no. And here's why. A true deep love doesn't drain you. It fills you up. It generates this surplus of energy. You feel happier, more alive, and all that good energy just naturally spills over onto everyone you interact with. Plus, a deep relationship is like a training ground. It teaches you patience, empathy, compassion, all the skills that actually make you better at loving everyone else too. And now, for the other side of that fear. If you open your heart really wide to lots of people, will that one special, deep connection get watered down? Will it feel less special, more shallow? And again, the answer is no. Because remember, love isn't that limited cake. It's an infinite spring. The more you give, the more you have to give. In fact, loving many people actually purifies your deep love. It helps wash away that clingy, possessive feeling and keeps that core connection healthy and open instead of closed off and selfish. So, how do we tie all of this together? The final and maybe most important piece of this whole puzzle isn't some complicated formula. It's really just about trusting the natural flow of love. Yeah, the trick is to stop treating love like it's a math problem. Stop trying to calculate it or balance the books. Just let it flow. The real secret is just to be fully present. When you're with your partner, be 100% there. When you're with your friends, be 100% there. You have to trust that your heart knows what it's doing. It will find its own balance if you just get out of the way. I think this final metaphor is absolutely perfect. It sums up everything so beautifully. The intense heat of the wick, that's your deep love, is the very thing that powers the light that shines out far and wide. That's your broad love. And that's it, right there. That's the beautiful, symbiotic relationship. They are not in competition, they're partners. One creates the energy, and the other makes sure that energy stays pure and expansive. They really do need each other to be whole. So, we'll just leave you with this one last thought to chew on. If you truly deeply believed that love was an infinite spring, not something you had to guard and save, how would you live differently tomorrow? What would you do with a limitless supply? It's definitely something to think about.